All right, Ben, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks.
This is the first episode of Mini with Ben here and some other of my really cool friends that I admire here in Nashville and maybe elsewhere as well. But I've been wanting to do a podcast like this for a few years now. Bought a bunch of expensive equipment and had a little bit of analysis paralysis. Life got crazy, but decided this year was the year that I was going to actually do it. And Ben agreed to do my first episode. So happy to have him here. Ben owns a physical therapy, you call it studio?
Sure.
It's a physical therapy practice studio, here in Nashville. And yeah, he's been working on me and a bunch of my friends who've been working to do a half and full marathon. And yeah, I really admired him and respect his work here. So Ben, tell me a little bit about what you're doing here.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, so I'm a physical therapist. I started this little company, really decided to take it on full time back in 22. I've been a physical therapist for well over 18 years, and it kind of took a lot of turns and went in different ways than I never expected. But I've gotten to this point now where I'm just doing it, running my own clinic.
That's awesome.
Whatever you call it. I'm mobile. I really try to be as fluid as possible in the space. So, if someone really needs me to go to their house or treat them out of a fitness facility or in the clinic or outside, that's what I do. And then I do a lot of personal training and group class instruction. And I've been in this field for so long that, and I'm so obsessed with sports that I just kind of know a little bit about almost everything.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but
I definitely agree.
Yeah,
definitely agree.
I've got a lot of cool things going on, and really just trying to be as open and honest about what this practice can be, but really let the clientele that I see drive where it eventually goes. And I honestly have no idea what that looks like yet. So
that's awesome.
Still trying to figure it out. Like, I never really thought I'd be in this room, with a microphone in my hand talking to someone. So that's me.
That's awesome, man. One thing I actually always wanted to ask you, I never got around to doing it. So no place like a podcast to do it. Tell me about Panda. Where did that come from?
Simplest answer. A lot of people out there probably know that I have a dog named Maui, and he's a Bernedoodle who's wild and wonderful and sweet. And, basically I got him in 2019. He became my best friend in 2020. I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and he's all I had. So, as I was branding this little thing, I tried to think through, what's the most important thing in my life, or what has been that.
Close your mouth.
What has been the most important thing in my life? And at that point, it was my wife and my dog. And he's always looked like a little panda, so that's it. And it's kind of a fun little way to just brand something. There's going to be a cool mural going up on this wall that kind of represents what Panda is and what we want it to become, which is just a cool practice that people feel healthy in. So the book right there kind of says it all, it's a kid's book, but I had a client give me that one day, and he said, I think you would really like this book. And really the onus of that book is, be intentional about your kindness, but also be mindful to yourself and others. So that's kind of the way I think about the practice and Panda. So.
That's awesome, dude. I would have never thought that was where it came from, but that's a cool story for that logo. And now that represents your entire brand and what it's going to turn into. And there's still questions, but hopefully the sky is going to be the limit.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, editor Nathan here. I wanted to jump in real quick before we got too far in the video and preference that this video was filmed a year ago. I filmed this last year, 2024 of April with Ben of Panda Performance. A lot has changed at Panda Performance, all for the better. He talks about some of his vision and goals for the upcoming year, and I think he crushed it. It's cool to kind of look back in hindsight and see some things that he was nervous about, some things that he envisioned for his business, and see those things come to light. So definitely excited for this podcast. Let me know what you guys think and enjoy.
What happened in 2019 or 2020 that like had you a little shaky, and then what changed?
Yeah, full disclosure. In 2019, I was burned out as a physical therapist. I was working for a bigger organization and didn't like what I did. Didn't like the therapist that I had become, and the things I said yes to versus the things I said no to. And then I went through a divorce, which sucked. And I went into 2020, and there was a tornado that rocked a lot of Nashville, rocked my life, and it kind of felt like I was at the bottom. In 2020, and I think a lot of people felt that way. But you know, without that time in my life, I really don't think I would have learned to appreciate my profession, my career, my hands, and my ability to just care about others, because I was alone. So, you know, some of that time really shaped me in a way that I didn't expect, and has kind of helped me build confidence that you can basically start from nothing and in a very short period of time, as long as you do the right things, or you try to do the right things, and you pay attention to your interaction with others. It probably is going to turn around. So that was 2020. Yeah,
that just describes life for you, but it makes more sense too, like why I feel like I admire you and respect you too. I didn't even know that until just now, but I feel like I have personally had something similar to that in my personal life as well, where I felt because I hit rock bottom, if you will, I was able to like look at my life a little bit differently and figure out what is it that I actually truly did want and how I wanted to get there. Yeah. And it definitely shook some foundations, some belief systems that I had. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. You know, during that time, and I think a lot of people struggle with this thing, we want to be perfect. And I was, and still am to this day, I struggle with this feeling of like, it's not perfect enough, and I'm not perfect enough. And if I'm not perfect enough, then no one else is going to appreciate me, or I'm not going to be able to do the things that I want to do. Yeah. And it's just false. There's no such thing as perfect. Yeah. There is just a lot of peaks and valleys in life. And, you know, it's taken me even hitting 40 to be like, whoa, it's okay to actually not be perfect. Yeah. And I think that people relate to the other people that represent that. Yeah. And can be honest. Because as a physical therapist, my job has always been, you come in with pain, you come in with a problem, I'm trying to fix it. And I'm trying to fix you, which means I have to represent being perfect. At least that's how it was in my head. And that is so far from the reality. Yeah. Because I'm still a human. I still have the same stressors as everyone else. I am not better than anyone else. I'm literally just good with my hands. I understand human movement, and I can get you better fairly quickly. And that's all I've got. And to me, that was such a learning process. And it still is today. When I'm having a hard time, middle of the night, I can't go to bed because I'm thinking about what I missed. I have to sit there and say, chill the hell out, because you're never going to figure it out. It's never going to be perfect. Yeah. And that's just, I think a lot of successful humans go through that. You know, it leads to imposter syndrome.
It 100% does. It 100% does.
You know,
that's very powerful. Yeah. Even like right now I'm training myself, and I've been working with a lot of individuals who are working to accomplish either their first full or half marathon, or trying to PR, or just trying to have some fun. Who knows? But we're all working towards doing a full or a half marathon. Yeah. And for me, like, I've always very competitive with myself, very competitive with other people, but I've been working through like this really annoying injury, and it's definitely like not allowed me to train in the fashion that I want to train in, which is very humbling as well. Sure. And I've had to like swallow a lot of pride and try to listen to my body and not push it to its limits as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely life, and life will come the way it wants to come at you.
Yeah. You know, injuries are interesting and humbling, and scary. And, you know, it leads to doubt and this thought in your head of whether or not you're going to be successful doing the one thing that you are really trying to do. And it's real. I would be lying to you if I said that every time someone walks in that door that I think I can get them 100% better or that I can do it that quickly. It's false. But I do know that when you walk in that door, you have power over that thing. And eventually it's going to get better. We just have to give you the right tools. And that is real for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think it's under talked about.
Yeah.
Like injuries are bound to happen, especially in long distance running, but there's so many ways to get you there.
Yeah.
And some of it is, being an athlete, we struggle with downtime and mitigating stress and, having this feeling, well, I missed this training day. Now it means that I'm not going to accomplish that thing. It's so far from the truth because the human body is so capable.
100%. Yeah.
But it just might take some downtime, might take some healing properties to get it there, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we tell that as coaches to all these people that are in the program for the exchange, right? You're going to do it.
Yeah. 100%.
Just chill.
100%.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get out your own way. What, it's kind of cool to see like you look at like the body and just the human, just a person as them complete self. You're not just practicing physical therapy as just like skeleton. It's you're looking at like mental a lot of times. Yeah. You're looking at like their sleep and their nutrition. Like you're very interested in that whole health approach. How did that shift from, I guess, 2019, 2020 to like right now? Like, was that something you've always been interested in doing? Is that what you felt limited during that time?
Yeah. You probably can look back and you could ask my friends that have been really close with me. I've probably always been that way in some way. But now, I don't know. Now that I'm so deep in it, I really think about all of it pretty much every day. And, prior to that, and the way we were clinically trained is to just fix the problem, fix the pain, get them out the door, discharge them. I've always felt like that was such a tough thing to wrap my head around. It's like, well, I want to be a part of their life, they've trusted me with their body and they've trusted me with telling me some really vulnerable things. And then I just discharge them and they never get to experience their process ever again. And I think that's why I'm that way. I want to know what's going on. I want honesty. If you messed up your nutrition, who cares? We can fix it. You know what to do. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes you're stressed out. Sometimes you want to eat a cheeseburger. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. And that's where that perfection thing came along. It's like we just had to be perfect and do it all right, follow a protocol. It's like, how many people have fit one protocol? No, it's just false. So that's kind of why. And I just, now that I work more with athletes, like true professionals that are in professional athletic spaces.
Yeah.
If I don't address the mental stuff in some way or lead them to the right profession, I'm going to miss something.
Yeah.
This stuff is too hard to not address that part.
Totally. Yeah.
As well. So, and sleep is number one.
That's true.
I'm the worst at it.
I'm right there with you. So many things I want to get done and sometimes sleep feels like it's in the way.
I always have been.
Yeah.
When I decided to try to sleep, it started to open my brain up. And I really think that has been the biggest transition for me.
Tell me more. Sure. What?
Yeah. So always had a hard time sleeping, had a lot of gut issues and stress and all this stuff. I wake up in the middle of the night, didn't feel good. Probably some childhood stuff there too. But I decided to bartend in 2020 and did that for 3 years and jacked up my sleeping schedule so bad because I would go in late, stay up until 5 in the morning on average.
Yeah.
And it has taken me 2 years to regulate that process, which is mind blowing. Now that I know how important sleep is, because I used to be standing there falling asleep, counting money, I now know I can't think straight if I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I get that.
And I still suck at it.
I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm a natural night owl. And then as I've gotten older, I've always prioritized sleep, even though like I like staying up later in the evenings. But something similar to you, just for extra money, for maybe 3 or 4 years, I was working in the service industry as well. So a lot of different bars here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's part of the job. You stay up really, really late and nothing changed about my life. Like I was still working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I would sometimes get 3-4 hours of sleep. My body it's smart. So I realized it wasn't gonna get that sleep. And it did what it needed to do to keep me alive.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I have more of a routine schedule, it's definitely taken intentional practice making sure I go to bed and get back in that rhythm.
Yeah. I mean, I did it this week a couple of times. I was laying on the couch and doing work and, phone and all this stuff. My wife goes to bed. She's really good at it.
Yeah.
Emma's awesome at it. She's in bed by like 8:30 and she's on me all the time. And she knows the process that's taking me to break that habit, but it's breaking. And it's getting to the point now where I'm like, man, if I don't get in bed now, because I get up early.
Yeah.
I go train people at like 6 o'clock in the morning. There's no way I can train someone if I only gotten 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm also getting older and I need rest.
100%. Yeah. So, your body needs more as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, like I said, your approach to your practice is like almost everything. So just speaking generally, what do you think people often struggle with that they can fix simply? One thing you already suggested was sleep. Like what else would you add to that?
Man, don't sit so much.
Ooh, that's a big one. That's a really big one.
Stop putting your head down. I don't know. Like I do it. Phone's right there. But man, if you just look up, you get in the sun. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Move around. I mean, we know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Movement is medicine. But go outside. Even if it's like in the middle of the workday, you've been sitting at your desk. Literally open the door and look at something outside that's not your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not blue light. The other couple weeks ago, I got a bike, and I literally got a bike as I used to ride all the time. And I got on my wife's bike, and I was on it for like 10 minutes, and it just clicked. I was like, there's some beautiful stuff here that I've been ignoring or I haven't seen in a long time.
Wow.
And all I did was get out of my car.
Yeah.
Or get out of a space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the one that loves being outside. So, yeah, I think move, get your head up, look around, pay attention. I don't know, and that might not be the best thing, but I don't know. What do you think? Like, what's something, I mean, you're coaching individuals and you see runners out there doing their thing. And like, what do you tell people? Because you're a professional, like you've had a lot of success athletically. And
I think keep it simple. I like what you said about like just standing and moving. Sometimes we don't have a choice. Like currently I work in a sales job that a lot of my day is sitting. Yeah. And I've recently, I have stand desks in my office at home. I have access to stand desks at the office as well. I've tried to make sure I utilize that. Mm-hmm. And just because I'm working through these different injuries that are all in my hips and my legs, I'm like trying to like stretch and wiggle and all the things I need to do to become more limber. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes we make things way too complicated. And it's just picking something and trying to make that habitual. Yeah. So when it comes to health, I think making sure that you're hydrated is a big one.
Yeah.
So
it's huge.
Get your water in. Mm-hmm. Move.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like go get a gym membership or go run a marathon. Mm-mm. Go outside for 30 minutes, move. Mm-hmm. Get on a bike, like you said. 30 minutes a day, move. Maybe park your car a little bit further away than you normally do in the parking garage. Yeah. There's studies that show people who are trying to lose weight, and the ones that intentionally choose to just move their body a little bit more than they normally do.
Yeah.
That could be, like I said, parking further away. They lose weight a lot faster than those who just choose a strict, rigorous program. There's something called NEAT, which is, I think, non-exercise aerobic thermogenesis. And all that is just additional movement throughout the day that's not intentional exercise.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So just walk more. Some people naturally have it. Like, I think I'm one of those people. I always move. Like, if I'm studying for a test in school, I'm like, my legs jumping up and down.
Yeah.
If I'm on a call for a sales call and I'm getting excited, I'm moving my hands. So some people have it and some people don't.
Yeah.
But it's something you can intentionally do.
Yeah.
So just moving more often. Every movement we do is burning some sort of calorie. So yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. When I was bartending, I had no time to exercise. And anyone that knows me knows that if I'm going to program something, especially in a group class, you're probably going to do burpees. Just get ready.
Yeah.
But, when I was working at that bar, I mean, it was crazy. I didn't have any time. And then I was going to a clinic, doing some contract work. I'd try to do 5 minutes of burpees a day. That was it. But there was a moment I was working at the bar during the day, and I'd been mopping this floor. I don't know how many times I mopped that floor. But I was so frustrated because I couldn't get it. I couldn't like go lift.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, man, I'm just really tired of this. I'm trying to get everyone else to exercise and I'm not getting it. And even today, I said the same thing. But I did something today about it, and I'll tell that in a second. But I went into that bar and I was like, I'm going to mop this floor like a boss today. I'm going to literally take this mop, hit every corner with aggression.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that I refill this bucket 3 times. So I have to dump it and put it back, put it all back together.
Yeah.
And I got done with it. And I was like, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. And that is cool. Right. I was training someone outside today. We had 2 50-pound dumbbells out there. He had been working out. He was trying to help me carry it in. I was like, no, let me clean these 2 dumbbells to my shoulders and I'm going to walk this inside.
Yeah.
And
it's like little mini challenges throughout the day for yourself.
It's seems so simple, but it's just flip your mind over and say, yeah, that's hard. Let me do it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Like I said, I think that can be definitely something that can be tremendous. And if we do that, what you do consistently are the results you're going to get. So oftentimes people will go balls to the wall on a diet or a movement practice, and then they fizzle out.
Yeah.
They sprint through this new habit that's not even fully formed yet, and they completely gas out. Yeah. And if they were just to do something very small and build upon that, they would get a lot quicker results. Tortoise in the hair. So
that's everything.
Yeah. Small things like make sure you're hydrated, easy to control. Make sure you're intentionally moving more often, easy to control as well. And then nutrition can be complicated, but don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
Just get your major food groups in. So I like to say, get a vegetable every meal.
Good.
That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yep.
Get a good source of fiber every meal. And then I am a meat eater. So get a good lean source of protein, whether that's meat or not.
Yep.
Every meal.
Yeah, that's cool.
A good way to think about portions is palm or fist. We can make nutrition really complicated because it's science, but in the day, it also can be really easy, just like addition as well. So
yeah, no, I love that. And hydration, like you said, if you're underhydrated, your body is going to get hungry.
100%.
So you might overeat. You never know. And eating's a dopamine rush. So
true. Yeah.
Maybe look at the mental stuff sometimes.
The hunter gatherer. Yeah. 100%.
It's like, oh shoot. I love that. But yeah, no, I think that's all good stuff. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I like to challenge clients a little bit, especially when they're doing epic stuff. Because I think this is very cool. And it's helped me want to do it with you and all that stuff. So what do you see this becoming? what would be a good marker of success so that we can, as a team, right? Again, it's all I'm ever thinking about. How do we get you to the next level? Where do you see this going? Where do you see it being? What are you excited about? Yeah.
I don't know. Like when I originally got this equipment, I was listening to a bunch of podcasts myself, and I was like, I would listen to it on like a podcast form on Apple Audio or sometimes on YouTube, and I just found a lot of entertainment from that. But I was either looking at for entertainment or looking for education, and I really admired the people who could just sit down and have a conversation, and talk about things that they disagreed with or agreed with.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that part. It's like you're a fly on the wall.
It's cool.
So I would love to continue having conversations like that with people who are experts in the health and wellness field.
Nice.
But the one thing I admired about you was the fact that you had, like, again, I said it again, it's the individual, it's the person.
Yeah.
It's not just about, I'm hurting, let's get this fixed. It's like, cool, how would you hurt yourself? Were you doing something incorrectly? Are you eating? Are you sleeping? Like all that stuff. I think success would look like I would continue interviewing you and others like yourself. I would love to get an audience of people who are interested in what I'm talking about and what the people are on the other side talking about as well.
Cool.
And yeah, I would love to, I guess, inspire and motivate. I'm not trying to get famous out here.
Yeah.
But I do want to garner an audience of people who will listen and maybe either get educated or maybe get motivated to do more things.
Yeah.
I've been kind of like soul searching and figure out what I want to be when I grow up, in a sense.
Yeah.
At one point in my life, I wanted to be a doctor, and I worked for a long time trying to get to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I got burnt out and things weren't going the way I wanted to go. And I took a break. And then ultimately I decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go into, but that's always been a passion of mine. And I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to use that education and that knowledge. And yeah, I see myself maybe, there's a guy named Andrew Huberman that I think a lot of people know now. I would love to do something similar to what that guy's doing.
That's cool.
I love
it.
How he informs people and he's breaking things down and people are getting really nerdy about stuff. I would love to bring that
to the world.
You
got it.
Yeah. For sure. That's a big go, but yeah.
So good.
What about you? You're doing some big things.
Yeah.
What looks like success for yourself?
Yeah, this is a tough question right now. I'm in a little bit of a crossroads, I think, because I've gotten so busy, and I say busy not like it's a problem, but my hands are literally on people all day long. Lots of manual work. And I think to this point I've struggled trusting anyone else, with Panda.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think I'm the best. It's because you see it. I care about everything.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm overly empathetic. And to this point, I haven't done a good job of myself. So where I see this going is me building something where there's multiple health related practitioners using Panda as a canvas, which is probably why that wall. Using Panda as a canvas.
Full transparency here. This is my first podcast I've ever released to the world. So I did have some technical difficulties with my camera in the middle. My screen's gonna be black for a few seconds, but there's some more content to watch. Keep on watching and let me know what you think at the end. Thanks.
To getting to work with really cool people and getting them to be more healthy.
Yeah.
I don't need to own everything they're doing. I don't need a bunch of really baller physical therapists working underneath me. I want a bunch of baller therapists and trainers working with me.
That's awesome.
I can help with.
All right, we're back. So you're talking about Panda and like what you wanted to turn into, and you wanted to be collaborative in a team.
Yeah. I'm so over. I was running clinics before, and I don't really want to be the boss.
Yeah.
I want to work with people and literally collaborate. If I say to someone, "Hey, I got this athlete, and we need 4 hands versus 2 to get this thing done." I mean, I've kind of tried it out a little bit with Evan, who's the basketball player I've been working with.
Yeah, definitely want to talk more about that.
I grabbed friends and other people like Julian and my friend Chris and my friend Sequoia, who I have tremendous respect for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want everyone to be involved in this process because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like I have fun at work.
That's amazing.
Which is crazy. It's why, like, my wife's probably going to lose her mind when I get home. But she's going to be like, "What have you been doing?" It's like, I've just been having fun doing my job, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's dope stuff. You know, I'm in the fastest growing city. I literally have a group of people surrounding me and working alongside me that are awesome. The exchange is freaking awesome. It blows my
Amazing.
mind every time I walk in.
Truly.
Every time I talk to James and Lauren, they blow my mind. I'm going to Boston. Something I never in my wildest dreams, after I did not make it, you know, as an athlete, that now I'm doing it with dope humans.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting on a flight and I'm going to be there in like, 5 hours. That's the cool shit. And that's where I envision Panda being. It's like, what's wrong with saying this little practice can do that stuff?
100%.
What's wrong with, having those tiny little dreams? Because I just stopped having them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I see it going? I honestly don't know. And I think we talked about it earlier. I'm not perfect, and I don't really care anymore. Like, I just have found this awesome thing. That's me right now. I've got Jill Keeler that's helping out, being in the space, helping me with her hand, and that's where we're going with it. And I meet such wonderful people through it.
100%.
That literally are road mapping me, like saying, "Meet this person. They probably would vibe with what you got going on." I'm like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know how else to say it. I've also done a very poor job of putting myself out.
Yeah.
It's just me being fearful and not wanting to be judged, but it's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people in my past that are going to be like, "I didn't even know you wanted to do that." It's like, well, because I wouldn't have told you in person,
That's interesting.
I mean, there's few things that you've heard, probably the last 3 talks, that you're like, probably would have never told me that.
Yeah.
Or I would have told you eventually. I'm the type of person, I grew up in New York. I'm Puerto Rican. We keep a lot of stuff
tight to the chest,
just because trust is an issue, and I'm just kind of over it. I've developed a family and a community here through my wife, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it on. Let's be a family.
Yeah.
I'm not from here, and she's not either. And as you can tell, we want to be a part of it all.
Yeah.
And it's a cool city to do it in. People complain about the growth, but come on.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I'm also not a native here either, but yeah. It's interesting just listening to you say that and then thinking about kind of my own experiences too. We both kind of admitted that there's like a point of our lives where we felt like everything crumbled and it wasn't going the way we wanted to come. We had to kind of build from ground zero in a sense. And I think that kind of demolishes ego.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have it.
Yeah.
We all have it. And a lot of what you just said was you weren't vulnerable with other people in a way that they would have never even knew that you were interested in pursuing certain avenues. But it had a lot to do with like walls and then keeping things tight to the chest. And it could have been the way you grew up, but it's still like a form of ego. And you let that go when you hit rock bottom. And you were,
really do.
Yeah, you were more like open. And that's gotten you more places.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. Yeah.
For sure. Like my shoe stuff. I didn't start buying shoes until 2020 like this.
Yeah.
I just like, fuck it.
You can't see the shoes, but they're dope.
A bunch of Blazers. And buy some Jordans. And then I'm like, every time I see the cool shoes, I'm going to take picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna tell everyone I like their shoes. You know, I've always been like the foot and ankle guy, so what makes sense?
Yeah,
Just sell
100%.
it. Cool shoes now, not as many as I want, but I probably don't need anymore. So yeah, yeah.
I love that, man. I love that.
It's a stupid thing like wearing a chain. I always thought it deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from New York. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? Think you don't like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do what makes you happy, man.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And like, don't hide yourself.
Yeah.
I love that. I know we talked like about like kind of some things you do off camera, but you work with a lot of athletes. And then specifically, I met one of your athletes. I think last week was it last week? Week before?
For the
Lalu,
the Lalu event
at the dive. Tell me more about like that. I know you work with Rachel at one point, and I've seen like you get her from like an injury to running Chicago. I'm sure that feels amazing. And then getting this other athlete back ready to do what he loves doing.
Yeah. It all stemmed from the foot stuff. I met a really awesome orthopedic surgeon, Andy, and his name's Nick Strasser, and we both are shoe heads. And we were complimenting each other's shoes, and then like talking about foot and ankle a little bit. And, you know, I was trying to explain. I was contracting through another company, and he asked some specific questions that I think I answered well without even knowing it. And he sent me this guy named Evan, and it has literally transformed the way I think about this practice too. Like, I get a chance to do therapy stuff, also be his trainer, because it's literally just the two of us, and we push hard, and we've had peaks and valleys, and you know, it's been the dream to work with a professional like that, because you see like them every day, like their day to day, but then you also like there's something in their eyes that you know there's more there that you can't wait to see on the court. Like, I can't wait to see him actually like professionally play against someone else. Like, I've seen him play against some amateurs.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, we just do a lot of body work, make sure he has a good home program, doing his stuff. He lifts all the time. And then I train him hard.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's not a good day. Like
Yeah.
today we didn't have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nature of like life. And that's where the athlete is cool. Like, I don't know. I recently like been really on all the stuff that Kobe Bryant was talking about. And his message was, it's just a lot of hard work. And I just want to do more hard work than anyone else.
Yeah.
And then I'm
He was a
gonna be more
grinder, man.
successful. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the best ones do that. I think every athlete that's doing it at a professional level does that to some extent. You know, sometimes they just let it go because it's so hard. But I'm modeling this thing around that.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do something just a little bit better than I was doing it before?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
What's the playbook here? Sometimes you're writing the playbook as you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in it. I mean, this is a new play.
100%. Yeah.
It totally
For
is a
both
new
of us.
play.
Yeah. Both of us.
So, yeah, that's what it's like.
Tell me, for like those who don't know, like who I'm talking about. Ben is working with a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
Whose world was pretty much shaken,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't even able to like do like basic functionality, like walk. Like,
yeah.
Kind of describe like who this guy is.
Yeah, his name's Evan Taylor. He went to the University of Nebraska, played in the G League for a little bit, and then ended up over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
The last team he played for was in Austria, and he ended up with staph infection. Nearly lost his life. Limb just started just really tanking. Super, super awesome athlete, super nice guy. Yeah, incredibly gifted when it comes to the mind. Point guard. And yeah, he ended up over there, had some surgeries, save his life, and then ended up back over here. And Nick referred him to me after that process. Uh, so yeah, we've just been, training. He had to have another surgery to get his big toe moving, which is pretty incredible. It's moving now, and we're just trying to get him back overseas. Um, and it's mostly on him. I just am trying to provide the little things that he might need because he's so gifted physically. Uh, getting his big toe to move. If he needs a cold plunge, I'm trying to get him into that.
Yeah.
He needs my H wave to go home. I try to get him on that. He just needs to eat dinner, get a really good pizza in him. I try to do that because I care. Like, he's become a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And that's the awesome part of my job.
That is
And
awesome.
you know that. Like, we
100%.
met as like a client therapist thing, and first time we met, it was like, oh, well, this is different.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, I mean, that's Evan. And I'm blown away. I mean, it's been the one that's really flipped me into something that it turned the light switch on, and I'm not turning back now.
That's amazing, man.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That is cool. Like you mentioned, like how Ben and I met. I started running again, and I had already knowing. I didn't even really understand that it was an injury until like we started talking more. But just a knowing pain that anytime I ran, it was bothering me to the point where it would affect my speed and my gait. So I was like, cool. I want to come in here to this new program strong, and so I can push the paces. And talked to Ben. We started just working on me, and yeah, I definitely admired like the education he was giving me, and he was helping me out. But also, it's just the conversation we were having. It's just very natural, and I could tell like he cared about me as like a whole human. And he was trying to, there's something about you for sure. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, but yeah, just like you described earlier, it's like this guy's a special guy. And he really, really cares about who he's working on. He really puts his whole heart and soul in that as well.
I feel the same about you, man.
Yeah.
Our friendship and what it's turning into. We haven't known each other very long, but last week when we were at that event, I really appreciated that you were just sitting there, kind of listening, being aware.
Got to see how you work, man.
Because like that means a lot, and it wasn't a show. It was literally just what I do.
100%.
And I appreciate that people want to be a part of it because it's just what I love to do. And, again, I want people like you to be along with it because think about how cool it's going to be.
Yeah.
When it's just like, Panda's everyone's. Like, I just really am adamant about that.
Yeah, I can see it, man. I can see it. It's cool too. Like somebody who was very, very interested in being like a practitioner of some sort. As I've gotten to learn like the different responsibilities when you work for like a hospital industry, or a lot of people go to school and they work really, really hard to get these titles and they're ecstatic about it. And then time to pay the loans off. It's time to work. And they realize like, oh, I'm working for this hospital and I see patients for 15 minutes max. It's like a rotate in, rotate out. And they all have a desire like you to kind of get to know the human, but they can't from a business perspective. They're just part of the machine. And
call them puppets. I mean, I was a puppet.
And some people are
it's not their fault.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like there's no hate on that. Like people got to go to work and they got to make money.
100%.
For real. You got to take care of your family. That's not intentional. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely it's refreshing, and it's also a huge risk when you decide to dive into what you're trying to create here and be more intentional with who you're seeing and how you're showing up for those people as well.
Yeah.
And it's definitely appreciated for sure.
Amen.
It's definitely needed in the space.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's keep this thing going. And I tell this to anyone. My number's out there. I don't know how much longer I can keep it
public.
Not public, but I might have to have my own number.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of that, but I want the people to use that number and ask questions.
Totally, yeah.
For real. Like, anyone will tell you, and I'm never going to change this, I will treat you for free. And I want to. Unfortunately, my accountant and my wife will kill me. For real.
You gotta be able to afford that expensive dog food for Maui.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about.
100%.
It's like I just love it so much, and it's everything I got.
Yeah. So, I think that's everybody's dream to get paid doing something they love. So that's a pretty amazing position you're in. Cool, man. Well, definitely going to be talking to Ben more often for sure. This is going to be the first of many. But yeah, thanks for being the first guest, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
For sure. That's a wrap.